The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business, from $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters at Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
All right, welcome to the Icons of Real Estate. I'm Tim Calloway. We have a very special icon for you today, all the way from Los Angeles, California, Myra Nourmand from Nourmand and Associates. She's actually known as the first lady of real estate in the Beverly Hills area, so we're very excited to have her. She's been featured on many television shows, HGTV, ABC. And is it true, Myra, you were on The View?
I was on The View many years ago. Yes, I was.
Wow, good for you. No, that's fantastic. I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna try to find it. I'd love to see that.
It was over 10 years ago.
Nowadays you can find anything, right? Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Show. So, why don't we go ahead and start at the beginning? How did you get started in real estate, and what's your story there? You have obviously a wonderful story to tell, and we'd love to hear it.
Well, I started in real estate in the late 80s. I was the stay-at-home mom, raising my 3 kids.
Right.
And every day I would take my kids to tap, ballet, jazz, gymnastics, soccer, little league, whatever, music. And I would sit with the mothers and I would hear, I need a bigger house. I need to get to a better school section of the city. My mother died and I need to sell her house. And I would call my husband, who was the president of Nourmand at that time.
Right.
Who do you have in the office that can work with this person? And he would delegate it to one of the brokers in the office. But then this happened repeatedly. And he said, why don't you get your license? I'm telling you, Myra, these people know you. They hang out with you. They have coffee with you. They trust you. They trust you with your kids. Get your license. You will be a natural. And I said, I don't know, working in the same firm with my husband, it's a recipe for divorce, problems, whatever. And he said, but what I do and what you do will be totally different. You'll be out with the clients. I'm running the firm. So reluctantly, I got my license. And the first week, I started calling people who were on the roster of my kids' school, because that was my frame of reference. And having known and gone to many charity events, I knew that when there was a little gift on the chair, people fought for it.
Right.
And I realized very quickly everybody wants something for free or for nothing. So I decided that I would go ahead and I would buy multiple gifts and call my friends and say, I wanted to come over. I have a little present for you. If it's Thanksgiving, it was a turkey. If it was Halloween, it was a pumpkin, whatever. And they always said, okay, come on over. Well, that opened the door for me to sit down with them and say, can you help me? And everybody wants to feel that they help a person. What can I do for you? Well, I got my license, and I would love to know if you have a relative, a family member, or a friend who's been talking about buying a house, selling a house, and if you could kindly put me in their direction. That's all I ask. So one of the mothers said, my brother is looking for a house and I'm going to tell him to talk to you. And I said, better yet, give me his contact information. This was before cell phone, this before the MLS, before computers, before internet. And I said, okay. And I called him up and I talked to him and his wife. And they said, sure, show me what you got. So I started showing him houses. And within 30 days, I sold him a house on the 800 block of Rodeo.
Oh, wow.
Not a bad job, right?
Not too shabby.
Then I call another friend of mine I said, what can I do to sit down with you and have a cup of coffee? Come on over. I said, I have a little gift for you. Oh, you don't have to give me a gift. Your friendship is enough. I said, no, 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 no. So I go over there. And when you give a gift, people feel obliged to reciprocate.
Right.
So she said, I live in Westwood. I really want to live in the flats of Beverly Hills. Okay, let's go looking. I find her a really great house on Bedford. And she said, I love it. Let me show it to my husband. Down the line, she said, let's put in an offer. I said, fine. The broker said to me at that point, boy, you're new in the game. I don't know if this business is for you. It's a tough business, Myra. You're great with kids and fashion and, cooking and everything. I don't know if this is for you. Let's see how long you last. Well, I closed that deal and then I got her listing in Westwood and I double popped it and everyone said, beginner's luck. It cannot continue like this. And it was like a little snowball that got bigger and bigger and bigger. And word of mouth got around at the school that I was a very serious broker and I would be the person, the go-to person. And that's how my business started. And I realized early in my career that once you get your license, your next step is, what do I do now? How do I get started? So I wrote a book. Okay. It's called, can you see it?
I
From
can.
Homemaker to Breadwinner, which is a autobiographical of my life starting out and how I honed my skills. I started going to different conventions and the book sold out.
Wow.
Why? Because I appealed not only as a person who said, well, an acre is 43,000, da, 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 da. People wanted to know, no, I want the nuts and bolts of how do I pick up clients? How do I get my foot in the door? How to. So this was an easy one night read. And not only when I went on conventions and I brought them, I got letters from mothers who were getting divorced, women who were single parents, who wanted flexibility in a job, who thought that this would be the perfect fit. And they wrote me letters, said, thank you for doing this for me. You've opened up my life. You've created a career for me. And that in itself was very rewarding, not just being a successful broker, but the feeling that I was giving back was very, very special. So that's how I became not only the first lady of real estate, but a lot of people called me the Martha Stewart of real estate because I love to cook. I love to entertain. And my home is always open for every holiday. And I include a lot of my friends and family and clients. And once they see how I live, they become very comfortable with having me represent them because the trust level becomes very strong. And one of the most important things in real estate is you have to maintain a feeling that you're in the right hands.
Right.
You're giving somebody the power to help you buy your biggest asset. And trust is important. So,
super important.
seeing how I live and how I conduct my life.
I think that's wonderful. Yeah, you definitely don't get as far as you have cutting corners and not being, being a personable person, and being able to interact with people. And I think genuine, being genuine is a big part of it as well. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Honesty, approachability, availability, knowing that you pick up the phone and answer their questions. If it's 9 p.m. or 8 a.m, you're there for them. And that is one of the things my son always said, Myra answers on the first ring. You get her on the phone right away. You don't have to go through channels. And that also adds to my success, that I'm there for my clients. I'm there for people who have questions. And it doesn't matter how big or small the home is.
Right.
I'm there for the individual, because people, start out at one point, they end up growing and buying bigger and bigger houses. And now I'm fortunate enough to sell the kids that grew up in my kitchen, who are now doctors and lawyers and MBAs, homes.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
that's very rewarding too.
That's what I like
Yeah.
to call a legacy realtor, right? I mean, generational legacy, generation after generation, and that's how relationships are really forged. So tell me about, you seem like the type of person who likes to continue to learn. You yourself are probably a thesaurus of knowledge. But who do you learn from now? I mean, what do you use as a learning tool to better yourself?
Okay, first of all, real estate is a people business. It's not just numbers.
Right.
Okay. And when I was young, and my father would take me, he would sell sewing machines, and he would take me with him. And I would watch how he created a database by putting a box and offering people an opportunity to win a free sewing machine. So they would put their name and address and phone number in this box. And this is how he created a database to sell. And I would watch him, not even aware that I was learning the tricks of the trade, so to speak. As I got older and I went to high school, I got a job as a telemarketer. And what my job was, it was a company that sold fire alarms. I was not allowed to mention the word fire alarm. Wow. I was told to set up appointments for the salespeople by offering a free lesson in fire safety. So when you call people and say you're willing to come to their home to give them a talk about fire safety, people say fine. And I would book 2 appointments for each salesperson every day. And they would go there. And after they spoke about the dangers of fire, they would try to sell them fire alarms. And that was my next step in getting involved with selling without telling too much.
Right.
Then when I was in college and engaged to be married, I saw an ad to sell cookware to brides. And I said, that's just up my alley. I'm getting married. I love china, silver, crystal, cookware. So I joined a company called Lifetime Cookware, and I would go ahead and offer people in shopping centers an opportunity to get a free gift. Remember the word free. Everybody wants a free gift. Either a serrated knife or a cake cutter, and everyone would say, sure. I would get to their house. I would show them how on layaway they could go ahead and order their cookware, china, dishes, everything for their wedding that they pick on a layaway plan. And in those days, the whole thing was $500.
Right.
And they could pay each month. And by the time they got married, they got everything. So I thought you had to go every night and do 2 presentations. And of course, each presentation, I was successful, and I would sell 2 sets of the cookware. When I finished the week, I had sold 10. Well, the owner of the company contacted me. He says, Myra, people sell 1 or 2 a month. You're selling every night.
Wow.
And I said, and I became the most successful person in the company of Lifetime Cookware. And I said, don't get too comfortable, because after I get married, I'm going to California. That's the end of my selling. So he said, no, we're going to give you the suitcase and you can do the same thing in LA. So I tried it, but it didn't work, because in LA, it's so spread out.
Mm-hmm.
In Buffalo, New York, the city was very compact. I could go to 2 places in one night. In LA, one was Woodland Hills, one was Sherman Oaks.
Right.
It didn't work. The whole thing did not work. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go into an employment agency and look for a job. I have a lot of credentials. I have a BA. So I walked into a company called Nancy Nolan, and the woman said to me, I have a job for you. I said, that was fast. She said, you're going to work here, and you're going to get on the phone, and you're going to connect people and connect the dots with employers. And you're not going to use your real name. You're going to be Nancy Nolan.
Right.
And that's going to be your career, and you're going to kill it. Well, I was getting people into jobs every day. And I said, you know what? This isn't for me. I need to get a job for myself. And she's not going to allow me. So I'm going to make an appointment for myself with a fictitious name for a company that I'd like to work for. So I gave them a name. I went on the interview. And after an hour, they said, you're hired.
Wow.
When do you want to start? And I said, I have to make a confession. I'm not that person. I gave you a fake name. So he said, well, what else is fake that you need to tell me? I said, everything else about my education and everything is real. And I'm ready to go to work. I have to give a 2-week notice, but I am your girl. And I ended up working there. I think it was a car leasing company,
Right.
and on Sunset Boulevard. Anyway, so that is how I have continued to go into sales. I love people. I think that I listen to what people ask me. I don't try to railroad them into buying. I have told many clients, do not buy this house. And they've said to me, no, I love it. Why are you trying to talk me out of it? I had a very successful entertainment attorney who wanted to buy a house in the Palisades. I said, you've never lived in this area. It's too far from your job. You will call me in a month and say, get me out of here. He said, you know what, Myra, I'm going to drive back and forth and time it and see how it is. And he calls me up and says, no. I love the house. I love the location. I'm buying the house. I clocked it. I can do it. 3 months later, he calls me up to get me out of here. You were right. This is not the place I need to live. I'm killing myself in traffic. I need you to sell it. And I went ahead and sold it, and sold him a house that I believed in, that he lived in, and he was very happy in. So it's not about making the sale.
Mhm.
It's about doing the right thing for your client. Because once they see how honest you are and trustworthy, you have a client for life. And this particular client, I've sold 9 houses to in 35 years.
Oh, wow.
So honesty,
Must be doing
there's a
something right.
saying, do unto others as you want others to do unto you. Have integrity, enthusiasm, approachability. These are all words that I live by.
Right.
So
Right.
that's.
So yeah, I definitely words to live by, on a regular basis. Well, that's a great story. So tell me about what's the future look like for you? I mean, are there plans ahead, or I know you're in production. Are you going to stay in production?
Well, I've been fortunate. Yeah, I've been fortunate enough that my son Michael,
Mhm.
who has heard me live and breathe real estate for years, graduated SC in the Marshall School of Business, and said, Mom, I want to try my wings in this company.
Mhm.
And he was amazing. And he's now the president and has created an even bigger company. My future is more on going out and giving and motivating new licensees and being a mentor to them and watching them grow. I do a lot of public speaking. I've been one of the public speakers for Women Up. I am a woman who has shown other women, you can do this. You can be a mother. You can be a homemaker. You can have it all if you're organized, if you're driven, if you're passionate. And this is my future. My future is to still sell, but to help create new stars in our firm, which we've been lucky enough to do. And that's satisfying.
That's fantastic. I love hearing that. That's a great story. And I like how you've taken that legacy and moving it forward, with family and everyone else, and willing to train new people. A lot of people don't want to do that, especially after years of production, they go, I'm out. So it's great to hear. Passing that knowledge on will do more over the long term than anything else probably you've ever done. So, how could anybody get in touch with you if they wanted to
I
reach
think I
out?
will do this forever.
Yeah, there you go. If you love it, it's not a job. It's just part of your life, and it's fulfilling. How would someone get in touch with you, Myra, if they wanted to maybe chew your ear a little bit about, a home or a listing, or maybe just they're looking to get into the business?
Well, I'm very approachable. You can go on my website. You can go on my email, Myra Nourmand at normand.com. You can Google me. My direct line at the office is 310-888-3333. Very easy to remember.
Yeah, that's a
And
great number.
again,
I like it.
310-888-3333.
Well, I
And
always,
if they want to pick up this on Amazon, they can pick this up on Amazon and read my story and answer any questions they may have.
fantastic. We'll send the link over too. Well, send that over. Thanks so much for being on the show. I always give a guest the last word. If there's anything that we haven't discussed, or maybe something you want to talk about that we didn't cover. Some people like to talk about their favorite dog rescue. Anything you like to kind of close out with?
I believe in giving back to every medical charity, diabetes, Alzheimer's, cancer, anything that is holistic in health. I'm there. I'm there to help raise money. I'm here to show up. I think, thank God, I'm in a financial situation where I can give back financially and with my time.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what I hope people will look at. It's not just about the money and the career and the high profile success. It's also about being a good human being, to help people in the biggest asset of their career, which is their home. And you do a good job, you get repeat business and referrals all day long. So if you've ever thought about getting into real estate, please give me a call. I'd love to answer any of your questions.
Fantastic. Myra, thank you so much for being on the show today. And I look forward to catching up with you in the future and seeing how things are going then.
Okay, my pleasure. And thank you for your time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.